The greater Sacramento area housing market has changed greatly over the past several years. So if you're looking to make a move or sell a house in the Sacramento region, then here's a video regarding what's happening right now with the Sacramento housing market. I'm going to talk about housing inventory, price reductions, and much, much more. So let's talk about inventory levels, because inventory is a very good snapshot looking at the healthiness, if that's a word, regarding our housing market here. Areas in general that have more houses for sale compared to the same time frame in 2019, pre-COVID levels, are areas in which prices are going down. That's areas like Austin, Texas, for example. In contrast, in Sacramento, we still have a lack of houses for sale. And I'll share also multiple offers being received right now in Sacramento region, on average 2 offers. Anyways, let's look at inventory levels according to ResiClubAnalytics.com. They pulled data from Realtor.com, by the way. So here's a look at inventory levels over the past several years, going back to January of 2017. So for the nation as a whole, there was around 871,000 homes for sale. That is higher compared to the past several years, but lower compared to pre-COVID levels. It's more normal to have around 1 to 1.2 million houses for sale, but nationwide we're at 871,000. The reason why I want to share that is because in Sacramento, it's much, much different. So for example, as of the end of December, the most recent trends we have from them, there was just over 3,100 houses for sale, higher than last year, but more or less on par with about 2 years ago. Also, we have more houses for sale compared to the craziness of 2020 and 21, when the average 30-year fixed rate was around 3%, and now it's around 7%. So at 3,100 right now, it is still lower though compared to pre-COVID in 19, December 18, and 2017. So about 500 less compared to December 19, but about 2,000 less compared to December of 2018. So historically speaking, looking at pre-pandemic levels, we still have a lack of houses for sale. Now this varies quite a bit for the region and city as well. So let's look at Austin, Texas, for example. Austin, Texas, look at that. They have more inventory this December compared to the past several years since at least, keywords at least, December of 2017. Looking at other pandemic boomtowns, let's take a look at Las Vegas, Nevada. And that's this right here, experiencing more or less what we're seeing here in Sacramento. More inventory compared to last year, but less than 22, but still lagging behind pre-pandemic levels. And lastly, let's take a look at Hartford, Connecticut. This is one of the areas which has experienced a big decrease of inventory levels. Look at that, 934 houses for sale this December compared to over 4,000 in 2017 and 2018. Now, here's another way to look at this for the nation as a whole compared to Sacramento. This, by the way, is looking at the greater Sacramento area, Sacramento, as well as Roseville, which is in Placer County, and Folsom, about 15 minutes east of Sacramento. So inventory levels from 5 years ago in the Sacramento region, more or less on par with the decrease on a national level. We're down 16%. We're also right in line compared to the year-over-year change, up by about 22%. So approximately 22% more houses for sale compared to 1 year ago. However, this is the big difference though. The 2-year change in Sacramento, we're down 2%, whereas the national average up by nearly 30%. Also, the 3-year chart as well is much higher nationally compared to Sacramento as well. Now I include Austin, Texas, for example, which is right there. You can see the very big differences here. Sacramento were only up by 79% from 3 years ago, but in Austin, Texas, up by 235%. This is why home sold prices in Sacramento are up by about 5 to about 7% year over year, whereas in Austin, Texas, they're down by about 4%. Let me take it a step further here. Here's a look at our multiple listing service, which real estate agents in Sacramento region, such as myself, have access to this. So I want to look at the measure of pending home sales, how many offers are being received right now. So I'm looking at pending home sales to start the year. So new pending home sales that occurred this year so far, right? So here's what I'm looking at. Here are the regions. So El Dorado Hills, which of course is in El Dorado County, Placer County, I'm including Roseville and Rockland and Granite Bay, for example. Sacramento County, I'm including most areas in Sacramento. Some of these other areas kind of vary quite a bit because of, one house has a small lot size, other houses have a ranch, multiple acres. Anyways, also looking at in Yolo County in West Sacramento. If you look at the actual houses that are under contract with home buyer right now, as of January 1st this year, there's 449. So what I really love about our multiple listing service, this was started about 2 years ago, I want to say, is that as a listing agent, when you list a home for sale, obviously when the home seller accepts an offer from a home buyer, you mark it pending. Then approximately 20 to about 30 days later, the home buyer gets the keys to their house and they can move in unless they have some rent back arrangements. Anyways, the escrow process is around 20 to about 30 days. So here's what really caught my attention, because this is a new thing, again, about 2 years ago, where as a listing agent, this is what I was going to say, that listing agents put after the home seller accepts an offer, how many offers were received. This is pretty wild. This property right here, in the South Sacramento area, 17 offers were received. This one, 16, 15, 13, 12. And keep this in mind, this is in January, because in January and December, that tends to be a low point or housing market where home buying activity is virtually at a lowest point of the season. And here we are, multiple properties getting over 10 offers right now. In fact, this one I actually looked up myself. I had a client who was interested in that house. 12 offers were received. This is a very low price point for El Dorado Hills for a 3,200 square foot home. Just looking at the averages here, just scrolling down, again, there's 449 pending home sales. You have to scroll all the way down here to get to 4 offers received. So, this is obviously an anomaly in which you have offers, over 10 offers received for property. On average, so far this year, home sellers are getting 2 offers on average, not 17. If you guys are curious about price reductions, here's altosresearch.com. So for the Sacramento Metro, I don't believe this is including this whole county, but the Metro, the share of price reductions as of the week ended January 10th is at about 36%. So about 1/3 of all houses for sale have a price reduction. This is roughly on par with a year ago when it was about 34%, but at 36% right now, this is way lower compared to the same time frame in 2023 when the share was at 47%. Back then, we had inventory doubling. Average mortgage rates went from 3.5% to start 22 and then ended the year at about 8%. So rates more than doubled in 2022. That's why we saw I would say a short-lived correction in the first part of 2023, especially when we're talking about home sales. In any case, that's why the share price drops in Sacramento went from 14% at the low point in March of 22 and shot up to about 57% by the time we hit November that year. In any case, going back to what we're seeing right now at 36%, obviously this is higher compared to 22 in 2021, when at that time, of course, we had 3% rates. Let's look at pre-COVID levels though, because as of January 24th, 2020, right before COVID, the share price drops was at 24%. So big picture, we're seeing more price drops right now compared to last year by a little bit, but also higher compared to 22, 21, as well as 2020. What I'm personally seeing in my neck of the woods is that we're seeing multiple offers on properties that are in desirable areas. Maybe they either need a lot of work, but they're priced very, very low, or they are just turnkey, you get your offer accepted, and you can move in. However, other properties that are asking for a high price, in which the home seller is just asking too much for the house, they are just sitting on the market. Buyers are very much aware of this, given the fact there's a lot more house for sale from a year ago, up by about 22% as of the end of December, as I described there. So because there's more inventory levels, buyers are a little bit more willing to take time to find the right house for them, which rightfully so is a good thing, because back in 22 and 21, when we're helping a lot of people relocate here to the Sacramento area, it was very, very challenging to get an offer accepted. let alone find a house that they want to buy due to a lack of inventory levels. So it's great to see we have more inventory, giving buyers more options, and therefore they can kind of, for the most part, kind of take their time in finding the right property, which is, I think, very much needed. In regards to home prices, have a look at this. This is looking at data for November compared to November of 2023. The most recent data we have from, I believe this is from Zillow. Yeah, Zillow. This is on ResiClubAnalytics.com. So Sacramento County, not the metro, but the entire county, which is around 1 million people, by the way, the year-over-year change is up by 2.2% in home values. The 2-year change is only up by 0.1%, but the 5-year change is up by a whopping 37.5%. We are still down compared to the peak of 22, but only down by 4.9%. It's also a little bit kind of disingenuous to compare May or June, for example, where home prices tend to be a lot higher compared to November, where home prices tend to be a lot lower as well. Now, obviously, the peak of 22 was back during the spring home buying season. So I'll have to see how home prices this spring home buying season compare to 2022. Also, just for comparison's sake, San Francisco, the 5-year change is down 3.8%, and compared to the peak is down by 15.1%. If I were to include El Dorado County, which is right there, this is a big area. It includes El Dorado Hills all the way until South Lake Tahoe. We're up by about 31%, or more or less flat year over year, up by 0.4%. In Placer County, that includes Roseville, Rockland, Granite Bay, but also goes in all the way up until North Lake Tahoe, 2 entirely different markets. It's up by 1.8%, but down 1% compared to 2 years ago. But still, over the past 5 years, since 2019, it was up by 34.5%. Now, a lot of people reach out to us who want to buy a brand new house. We also can help you with that as well. One bit of advice before I share the areas in which there's a lot of home building going on is to reach out to your real estate agent prior to touring any brand new houses. A rule in Sacramento, which is a common rule, I think nationwide, is that home builders require that the real estate agent is with them during their first visit of the community. So if you go to a community, you sign in to their sheet there without your agent, they're not going to allow you to be represented by your own agent. So just keep that in mind. So the areas, having said that, the areas that have a lot of home building, a lot of new houses in the greater Sacramento area, here's downtown Sacramento. Much of the home building is in the far northern side of North Natomas, very close to the airport. They're actually building houses very close to the airport now. We're also seeing a huge uptick of home building activity. This has been a common scenario for about 20 plus years in Elk Grove, as well as the area just east of Elk Grove, which is in the Vineyard area of Sacramento. In addition to that, we're seeing a huge uptick of activity in Rancho Cordova, which is right there, just east of Mather, Kentucky, and then also in Folsom, especially south of Highway 50 in the Folsom Ranch area. This master plan, several communities, and a ton of home building going on there. I made a separate video regarding that about 2 videos ago, so have a look at my channel for that. In addition to Folsom Ranch area, moving north along I-80 and then up Highway 60, a ton of home building going on in Roseville, especially the western side of Roseville, a ton of home construction going on there as well. Also, home builders are still offering incentives, either a closing cost credit or a rate or a 30-year fixed rate far below market rate, which is around 7% at the time of filming this video. With that said, if you guys are interested in buying or selling a house in the greater Sacramento area, my team and I would love to help. My email is jason@meetjasonwalter.com, or you can check me out at realestateteamfinder.com. With that said, please like and subscribe. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you in the next video.